Len Wein kicked off a new era of the mutants at Marvel with giant-sized X-Men. And then Chris Claremont quickly took over and revolutionized the mutants for the next 17 plus years. But it wasn't just Len Wein and Chris Claremont by themselves at the beginning. No, they had the help of the great Dave Cockrum. And today, we're going to look at some of his original art. Stay tuned and watch this video until the end. And we're back. My name is Taylor. This is Taylor Talks Comics. Please give the video a thumbs up and comment down below whether you're watching this on Organic Price Books YouTube channel or the Taylor Talks Comics YouTube channel. And subscribe. Organic Price Books, subscribe there. Subscribe to Taylor Talks Comics also. I'm on my road to 3,000 subscribers. Trying to get there by the end of the year, and I need your help. All right. So this is Dave Cockrum's X-Men Artist Edition. I've shown off a lot of Artist Editions on my channel and the OPB channel. I'm a huge fan of them. I think they're great books, great additions to people's libraries, especially if you're a big fan of the characters or the stories involved. Now, I've shown off previously on both channels the John Byrne X-Men Omnibus. Excuse me. And this is Dave Cockrum. And later this year, we're getting Paul Smith. Now, that's kind of the trifecta of X-Men artists, thinking about like the Uncanny era, when Len Wein and Dave Cockrum launched it with Giant Size X-Men, all the way through to when you get the new class of artists in there. But Dave Cockrum, John Byrne, Paul Smith, all kind of sculpt and form and launch this era of mutants that transcends all the way to today. Dave Cockrum, though, played a huge role in this because he had a lot of the character designs down for these, and this omnibus, or this Artist Edition is amazing because you get to see some of that. Now, Dave Cockrum, previous to this, was doing Legion of Superheroes over at DC, and some of these characters were created and meant to be future additions to the Legion of Superheroes. But Dave Cockrum would get this gig over at Marvel with Len Wein, and we'd see them debut here and live on till today. So real quickly, I want to show this off. I do want to do a size comparison because the just to show it off, if you've never seen a Artist Edition. So here is a standard size comic book issue. You can see how much wider than and taller than it. It's massive. So much bigger than your omnibuses and everything else. The reason why that is this is a 12 by 17, by the way, I think. So this is the same size as like the John Byrne one, the Frank Miller's Daredevil Artist Edition, the Dave Stevens Rocketeer. Those Artist Editions are all the same trim size. However, not all Artist Editions are the same size. If you're a recent purchaser of the Batman Year One Omnibus, I keep saying Omnibus, the Batman Year One Artist Edition, you'll know it's much bigger than this. These are done from IDW with Scott Doombeer to be true to size of what these artists drew on. So let me open this up and show you. First, you're going to see some in papers here. Now, this is Dave Cockrum working out the character designs of who would be Jean Grey and Phoenix and what she would turn into for the X-Men. The in papers are always, Scott Doombeer does a great job with this. Here, back we get Colossus's character design, and they're always really blown up images on the in papers. These are not true to size. However, we get into the book, and you see great title page here, and then great credits and indicia. Special thanks here. These are the people that helped offer the original art for Scott Doombeer to scan. Because I always kind of joke that Scott Doombeer is like the Indiana Jones of original comic book art. He is going around the world, literally, and finding these original original pages to scan and put them into these books. Because back in the day, Dave Cockrum, John Byrne, Paul Smith, whoever, would draw these pages, and then they would go to conventions and sometimes sell them to fans. So then one issue of X-Men could be 20 different houses those pages get to. So Scott Doombeer is looking for them and compiling them in these volumes. The introduction here is written by Chris Claremont, which is really, really great. Obviously, Chris Claremont, Dave Cockrum worked handedly together after Len Wein handed over the writing reins to Chris Claremont. And then here's the table of contents. Now, this is important. Not all Artist Editions are the same. Some of them collect an entire story, every single page, like the Batman Year One book that I have a video on, collects every single page that David Mazzucchelli wrote. These This one in particular and some other artist editions are a collection of different pages. There are no complete stories throughout this book. We're just getting a collection of a bunch of different Dave Cockrum pages. So they are split up by issues though. So we have a bunch of pages from Giant Size X-Men #1. Obviously the famous Giant Size X-Men #1. You can't go wrong with that. And that had Dave Cockrum inking and penciling his own work. And then we have X-Men 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, and 107. So no missing issues throughout that successive run. And we get some foldouts and some stuff in the back. So we start off here, right inside of Giant Size X-Men #1, page number 3. And we see Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was one of the characters that Dave Cockrum was designing and creating for the Legion of Superheroes. Didn't work out, put him in X-Men, and obviously he's lived on till today. And also Dave Cockrum, his favorite character. It's often talked about how if you look at the cover of Giant Size X-Men, you can see that Colossus and Nightcrawler are displayed more prominently than Wolverine. Now, obviously, we know in hindsight, Wolverine is like the most famous X-Men character. But Dave Cockrum preferred those two, and they thought Colossus being like the heavy of the team was going to be a bigger deal because he'd be like the Thing, because the Thing was popular back then. But I digress. John Byrne then came on the board, loved the Wolverine character, and that's all she wrote. Now, here's some cool characteristics of an artist edition that I want to point out if you've never seen one of these before. And I absolutely love these. So these are literally full color scans of the original pages. They're not black and white, even though it looks like black and white art. Now, why would they do full color? Well, one of the first things to point out is how yellowed the paper is. You can see that this is the original art page. This is what it looks like if you had it in your hands. Exactly, because these are really, really high quality scans. Scott Dunbier does only the best work when that comes in that regard. So you can see it's yellowed. Now, that could be because back then a lot of the media and stuff was not archival. The page could be yellow because whoever owned this page could have had it framed in a spot where the sun was shining on it. Maybe not stored properly. Because some of these pages you can see aren't as yellowed. Now you do see some ugly tape at the top, some ephemera where they Dave Cockrum probably wrote Giant Size X-Men #1, so he knew what page he was working on. He wrote down page 16. And you see some paste ups on here. Now you can see some of the actual pieces of art that the artist would do that would not show up on the final page. You're seeing all the kind of the nooks and crannies, the warts and all of this original art. You can see like this paste was white out, or painted on over this spot here. It could be a spot where Dave Cockrum maybe was drawing some grass there and didn't like it, so he wanted to redo it. It could be an effect that wanted to show up with coloring later. I don't know. If I had the final page, I could show you what it looks like when it's full color. Same thing over here. You can see him coloring in some technique there. This looks like it's pasted over on this one. So you'll see that sometimes too, where the letterer will finish his job, and then as the editor gets it back, he might want to change something. And John Proudstar is an Apache and was pasted over and changed. So whatever that said underneath, we'll never know. You can see some whiteout here too. So it looks like, and even right here too. So it looks like Dave Cockrum maybe didn't like the lines that he was making right here on the collar or the sleeve. Right here, maybe the wrinkles weren't good, the drapery. So he was wanting to redo that, and so he whited it out and drew on top of it. Now, when you scan that in and color it and everything, those won't show up on the final page. So if you look at the final page of those, you won't be able to notice that. But this is the great thing. This is a really yellow page right here. But this is a great thing about looking at these artist editions, because you can go back and see what was the original concept and idea, and you can see some of the process work of the artist and see what they're trying to do and what they, complete. Or how they come across the process of making these characters and whatnot. This is a great page. This Giant Size X-Men #1 is such a great issue. This is a spectacular artwork for sure. And then, so this is issue, I think this is issue number 94. Yeah, 94. And this is when Chris Claremont takes on as writer. Lynn Wein is the plotter and editor. So Chris Claremont has not been given full reign just yet. But Dave Cockrum's still here. I should say Storm was the other character that Dave Cockrum was creating to be a Legion of Superhero. That one didn't look exactly the same. Like Nightcrawler was pretty much hat in hand, like the exact same design that he had for Legion of Superheroes was going to be what we saw on the final page of X-Men. Storm was a little bit different. She's kind of an amalgam of a couple different characters that he was creating for Legion of Superheroes. But it's really, really great to see all this artwork displayed at this true size. It's really like if Dave Cockrum had a collection. This is amazing imagery right here. The moment Charles Xavier screams. Like, that is just incredible comic book artwork right there. It's even like a Lovecraftian monster on top of that. It's as if Dave Cockrum had, you like ran into him at a convention and he had a whole stack of his original art and just threw it on a table and you're just flipping through it. First appearance of the Sentinels. First appearance of the Sentinels in this era, I should say. Oh, this is a famous cameo. This is Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, right here. I wonder, so Stan Lee's face is obviously whited out and redone. I do wonder if he had someone else drawn there, or if he drew Stan Lee's face and didn't like it, or maybe Stan Lee didn't like it the way it turned out, so he redrew it. I'd like to know the story there. But that is Jack Kirby, Stan Lee. Which kicked off kind of an ongoing trend of having creators make cameos in these pages. This is absolute brilliant panels by Dave Cockrum, where he's starting to stretch the panels and the imagery and the layouts and things, which would just set a tone for what you get from X-Men. I just love the image of the Sentinel popping out right there. And one that John Byrne would take over and then become, a whole other thing. Death Star Rising. Such an awesome splash page right there. And this, by now, we have Chris Claremont fully on board as the writer, plotter. He's writing all the stories with the artist. They are working in Marvel method. But Chris Claremont's pretty full on with these pages and whatnot. So here's the pullout. So I'm going to slide the book over and try to pull this out right here. Ooh, geez. So you get a full panel right there. Double page splash on that side. And that folds, try to do this carefully, onto this side, where you get this whole team photo by Dave Cockrum, where you can see a lot of the whiteout and stuff done, where I have to say, I own a lot of these artist editions, and sometimes it's kind of hard to find some parts where the artist took some whiteout and redid some parts or pieces. Dave Cockrum does it quite a bit, and it makes me think that he might be somewhat of a perfectionist, or was. Because he really whites out a lot of these things, where he obviously didn't like that mouth, didn't like this drapery on Professor Xavier's ascot, or whatever he's wearing there. But it's really cool to see that, because his artwork is magnificent. It's kind of humanizes him a little bit, right? He's an amazing artist, but he's not perfect. But he also was a diligent artist that wanted to look great and would rework it. I do love Wolverine holding the Coors beer here, leaning on Thunderbird's gravestone. Here we get the Phoenix Force coming around the spaceship here. Just amazing, like, floating heads, too. Showing all the drama that Chris Claremont was writing in the best way. Really, really amazing stuff. And even in these scenes, too, where you have, like, great character design. These people in the background just all look crazy. But even these stagnant scenes where it's not like an action scene even look great. Now, this page isn't as yellowed. I wonder if this was something was different used here, or if the person that owned this page just preserved it properly. Here's Juggernaut coming to make his return to this era of X-Men from the Silver Age. So here's Nightcrawler. Again, Dave Cockrum's favorite character was Nightcrawler. That's why he was displayed prominently in these issues, along with Colossus. Wolverine wouldn't get his due until John Byrne would take over, which I've talked about and shown off in the John Byrne Artist Edition. I do want to get to the back matter here. Okay. We have cover gallery. Okay, I was kind of sad that we didn't have the cover, some of these covers, but we do. I always loved the Starjammers. I thought they were such a cool thing. They're space pirates. How can you not love those? I always love those guys. Dating back to, I had the action figure of some of these guys, and Corsair especially, I had the action figure, and I played with them all the time as a kid. Here's the Giant Size X-Men cover right here. Original art, which is amazing to see. I can't believe it. So you have David Cockrum and it looks like Gil Kane, maybe, on the signature there. And then here's a pinup, it looks like. I guess I should look at the table of contents. It'll probably tell me, right? Oh, no, it's Foom. That's cover of Foom number 10. And then here's all the X-Men covers that he was doing. Again, a lot of whiteout used to fix some of his mistakes. Now, this was intentional. This whiteout here was to give it a technique around Magneto's powers. There. The all-new, all-different X-Men. So it wasn't technically the Uncanny X-Men just yet, but there will be covers, well, right here. Covers from the Uncanny era. It would start to say Uncanny on the title, but wasn't officially Uncanny until I think like the Days of Future Past issues. They would start to say Uncanny there. To Ray with Best Wishes by Dave Cockrum. So you can see that he signed this off to somebody that owns it. He signed it off in the corner box. That usually had the barcode there. These are some of the later issues that he did the covers for. Here's a cover of the Comic Reader. Now, Dave Cockrum does have a history of working on fanzines and things, so that's really cool to have some of his fanzine art, even though it was after the fact. He did do the Nightcrawler miniseries. It was a 4-issue miniseries. Again, his favorite character. And we'd see that. Here's the in papers. We're seeing them at their full size right here, which is really cool. Here's Nightcrawler. Here's him working out the Nightcrawler design. And I think this description and everything is from the Legion of Superheroes, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's where these pages come from. And here's How to Draw X-Men page 1, Nightcrawler. And here's some more other character designs. Marvel Girl, Black Cat, where he's trying to work out the ideas. Thunderbird, which is really cool to see these, because they would obviously look different when they debuted. So you're getting a lot of cool sketchbook kind of material. Duck-a-muck, I love that. Seeing him do a completely different style. Him drawing Wolverine, but then doing the goofy character next to him. Always drinking Coors. Here's a fully painted picture. It's drawn to Frank. I don't know if that's Frank Miller or not. Many thanks for Sonia. She's gorgeous. Here's Storm back at you. Yeah, I do wonder if that was Frank Miller. I don't know. But it is great to see a fully painted piece. Showing that Dave Cockrum was a true artist. In every sense. And here's some more pinups that he did, or commissions possibly that he was doing. Just amazing stuff. Here's some issue. Looks like they're not Brain Eck. I think they're goofy parody comic, kind of like Mad Magazine. Here's some just pencil pages with no inks on them, which this is amazing to see. Holy crap! You get to see the true process here. I wonder if these are thumbnails before he would do the final piece. I don't know. These are amazing. Though. You even see some story ideas around the panels. Possibly working out ideas with Lin Wein. Then you get an afterword by Clifford Meth. And then that's it. Dave Cockrum bio. Truly a great piece of comic book history here, especially if you're an X-Men fan, X-Men art fan. Like I said, we're going to have the trifecta. We're going to have Byrne, Cockrum, and Paul Smith. And then we do have a Jim Lee X-Men Artist Edition. I think a Mark Silvestri one would be perfect as well. But thank you guys for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up and comment down below. And subscribe, no matter if you're watching this from OPB or from Taylor Talks Comics. Subscribe to both. Go to the other channel and subscribe too. Help us both out. But thank you guys for watching. Keep talking comics.